Hello, dear viewers. Have you ever experienced the panic of your child suddenly running a high fever in the middle of the night? Did Toan and Diem make it to the hospital in time? Could their baby overcome the crisis? In this life or death moment, the love and strength of two parents created a miracle. Follow this emotional story to see how their little boy fought through it all. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to support Toan and Diem's family. Your love is their greatest motivation. It was a quiet night in the city. The lights in the house were turned off, and everything seemed peaceful. Ly Tu Diem lay beside her husband, CEO Toan, their little baby boy sleeping soundly in the crib next to their bed. The soft hum of the night air was the only sound until, suddenly, a faint cry broke the silence. At first, it was soft, almost like a whimper. But within seconds, the sound became more urgent and high-pitched. Diem sat up in bed, alarmed. Something wasn't right. She rushed to the crib and found her baby drenched in sweat, his cheeks burning hot to the touch. Toan! Wake up! Something's wrong with our son, she cried, her voice trembling. Toan bolted upright, instantly alert. He rushed to Diem's side and saw the baby twitching slightly, his face flushed, and his breathing uneven. He touched the baby's forehead and immediately felt the intense heat. He's burning up, Toan said, trying to stay calm but clearly shaken. We need to take him to the hospital right now. Within minutes, the couple was dressed and out the door. Toan carried their son in his arms, wrapped in a soft blanket, while Diem grabbed the essentials. They jumped into their car, and Toan sped off through the empty streets, heading for the nearest hospital. The clock showed 2:17 a.m., and the world outside was dark and silent. But inside their car, it was filled with the sound of Diem's soft sobbing and the baby's weak cries. She sat in the back seat, cradling their son close to her chest, whispering words of comfort even though her heart was racing. Stay with mommy, okay? Don't be scared, we're going to the doctor now. You'll be okay, Diem kept repeating, her hands trembling as she dabbed the sweat off his forehead with a damp towel. Toan, gripping the steering wheel, kept glancing into the rearview mirror, his jaw clenched tight. This wasn't just any illness, it was their child, their precious little boy, and the thought of anything happening to him made his chest ache with fear. He ran a red light, ignoring the traffic rules. Nothing else mattered now but getting to the hospital as fast as possible. The baby let out another weak cry, then his body trembled. Diem gasped. He's having chills, Toan. Please hurry. I'm almost there, Toan replied, his voice thick with emotion. Finally, the hospital's neon sign appeared in the distance like a beacon of hope. Toan pulled up at the emergency entrance, jumped out of the car, and ran inside with the baby in his arms, Diem right behind him. Our baby has a high fever, please help. Toan shouted, his voice desperate. The nurses rushed forward, immediately taking the baby from his arms and placing him on a stretcher. They disappeared into the emergency ward, leaving Diem and Toan standing in the corridor, breathless and shaken. Diem leaned against the wall, covering her face with her hands. Toan pulled her into his arms. He's strong, Diem. Our boy is going to be okay. But in her heart, she couldn't shake the terror, the fear of losing what she loved most in this world. The emergency room was cold and sterile, lit by the sharp glow of fluorescent lights. Time felt as if it had frozen for Ly Tu Diem and Toan as they stood in the waiting area, staring at the double doors through which their baby had been taken just moments before. Every passing second felt like an eternity. Toan paced the floor anxiously while Diem sat silently on the edge of a chair, her hands tightly gripping each other. Her eyes were puffy, red from crying, but she didn't seem to notice. Her entire being was focused on one thing, waiting for news about their son. A nurse finally came out, her expression professional but kind. "Your baby is being examined by our pediatric team," she explained gently. His temperature was quite high, over 39.5 degrees Celsius. "We've administered medication to lower the fever and started in 4 for fluids. The doctor will update you shortly." Is he going to be okay?" Diem asked, barely able to voice the words. "We're doing everything we can. He's in good hands," the nurse replied before returning inside. Those words offered a moment of comfort, but not enough to silence the fear growing inside them. Toan walked over and crouched beside Diem, placing a firm hand on her shoulder. "He's strong. Just like you," he said softly. "And we're here now. That's what matters." Diem nodded, but her heart still ached. "I've never felt this helpless, Toan. He's so small, so fragile. What if—" "Don't go there," Toan interrupted gently, his eyes steady. "He'll make it. He has to." A while later, the pediatrician appeared, a calm middle-aged woman in a white coat. "Mr. and Mrs. Toan?" she asked. They both stood immediately. "Yes," Toan answered. "Your son responded to the initial treatment. His fever is slowly going down, but he had mild febrile convulsions, seizures caused by the high temperature. It's not uncommon in young children, and we've managed it appropriately. We'll need to monitor him closely for the next 12 hours. Can we see him?" Diem asked, her voice breaking slightly. The doctor nodded. "Of course. He's resting now, but he's stable." They followed the doctor into a small private room where their baby lay on a hospital bed, tiny and pale but breathing more steadily. He had an IV drip attached to his arm, and a cool compress rested on his forehead. Diem rushed to his side, gently touching his cheek. Toan stood behind her, his eyes misting over at the sight of their son fighting through this ordeal. "Mommy's here, sweetheart," Diem whispered, placing a kiss on the baby's hand. "We're right here with you." For hours, they remained in that room, refusing to leave their son's side. Nurses came and went, checking vital signs and adjusting medications. Diem hummed soft lullabies, holding his tiny hand in hers, while Toan watched in silence, occasionally brushing his fingers through the boy's hair. As the night turned into morning, the atmosphere slowly shifted. The fever continued to drop, and their baby's breathing became steadier, more natural. The color began to return to his cheeks. A nurse entered with a smile. "Looks like he's turning the corner." You brought him in just in time. Good job, Mom and Dad. Relief flooded their hearts, and Diem let out a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. Toan sat beside her, gently pulling both mother and son into a quiet embrace. In the stillness of that hospital room, the fear that once gripped their hearts began to fade, replaced by gratitude, love, and hope. Morning sunlight poured gently through the hospital window, painting soft golden lines across the white walls. The sterile chill of the emergency room was now replaced by the warm hum of a new day. Inside the private room, Ly Tu Diem stirred awake in the chair beside her son's hospital bed, her hands still wrapped protectively around his. Toan had fallen asleep on the small couch nearby, his jacket draped over him like a makeshift blanket. The long, terrifying night had drained them both. But now, as Diem opened her eyes and sat up, the sound that greeted her heart was like music, her baby stirring softly, letting out a tiny whimper. She leaned closer. The boy's eyes fluttered open, revealing those familiar, innocent orbs that always melted her heart. He blinked a few times before slowly turning his head toward her. His small hand twitched, then reached up weakly to touch her fingers. "Sweetheart," she whispered, barely holding back tears. "You're awake." At the sound of her voice, Toan sat up instantly. "Is he okay?" he asked, his voice still thick with sleep. Diem looked up at him with a soft smile. "Yes, he's awake. He's looking at us." Toan moved quickly to her side, kneeling down next to the bed. "Hey, champ," he whispered to his son. "You scared us so much last night." The baby blinked again, then gave the tiniest smile, the corners of his lips curling up just enough to break both his parents' hearts in the most beautiful way. He was weak, but his fever had broken, and it was clear he was on the road to recovery. Diem leaned down, pressing a gentle kiss on her son's forehead, now cool to the touch. She let out a shaky sigh of relief. "You fought so hard. Mommy is so proud of you." A nurse entered the room, smiling warmly at the scene. "Good morning. Looks like someone is feeling a little better today," she said cheerfully. Toan stood up and thanked her. "We're so grateful. Thank you for everything you've done." The nurse checked the monitors and noted the baby's improved condition. "He's responding well. If things continue like this, he might be discharged tomorrow. He's lucky to have such loving parents." After the nurse left, Toan sat beside Diem and wrapped his arm around her shoulders. They both looked down at their son, who was now drifting in and out of light sleep, calm and safe in the presence of his parents. There were no more words needed. In that quiet hospital room, filled with the soft beeping of monitors and the morning sun, a profound peace settled over the little family. The storm had passed, and though their hearts were still tender from the fear they had endured, they were now filled with overwhelming gratitude. Toan leaned in and kissed Diem's temple. "We're going to be okay. The three of us. No matter what." She nodded, resting her head on his shoulder. "I've never been more sure of anything." They sat like that for a long time, soaking in the preciousness of the moment. Their arms circled their baby boy, his small body cradled between them, a symbol of love, strength, and unbreakable family bonds. Though the night had been filled with fear, the morning brought clarity. Life was fragile, but also powerful. And in the arms of those who love us most, even the smallest heart can fight through the darkest hour and shine.